Fast Track to Beating the Debt Collectors, Part 2. Brought to you by YourLegalAgup.com, your advantage if you're being sued by debt collectors. In my last video, I suggested that it was time to do more than just help people slip through the cracks of the debt factory. Of course, I'm not going to tell you to march or shout or do anything extreme. I still want you to beat the debt collectors, and that's still going to be an individual thing. But consider the following. On an average day in a pretty average county court in mid-America, talking about St. Louis County, Missouri, there are between 2 and 4 courtrooms that spend the first 2 hours of their day processing debt claims. In each of these courtrooms, you'll have approximately 20 to 30 lawyers, 5 or 6 for the debt collectors, 5 or 10 for the debt defendants, and others who are there for miscellaneous reasons. You'll have 50 to 100 people milling around, and a court staff consisting of a deputy, judge, court clerk, and a secretary or two. Over the next 2 hours, each of those courts will process between 100 and 500 debt cases. It's a rare day with under 100 judgments, and it's common to have far more than that. Now multiply this by 50 states and 20 counties per state to get a conservative view of what's going on throughout the country. And they do this every single business day of the year. It's a profit center for the court, which charges about $50 per case. So at the end of the day, the court has collected, say, $15,000, and the debt collectors have garnered 250 or more judgments. Now I ask you a question, and the answer is going to be obvious. Do you think they could do all that if the people being sued stood up for themselves? A low-priority criminal case could easily take half a day. A high-profile case, civil or criminal, could take a week or more. Imagine what would happen to the courts if 200 debt cases took just half a day to process. It would take almost an entire year for the court to handle what it does now in 2 hours of one morning. I'm not making these numbers up. This is what I saw day in and day out where I practiced. It would take one day, just one day, for the court to get nearly a year behind schedule. And if you think the judges are going to stand for that, well, none of the judges I've ever met seem likely to appreciate anything like that. And what about the debt lawyers? They handle at least 50 cases each in an hour every morning. They get judgments of, say, approximately $250,000 in that hour, 5 times a week. Imagine if they could only handle one case per morning and it took them 4 hours to do. That would reduce their judgments from $250,000 per hour to perhaps $1,000 per hour if they won. And they wouldn't win a lot of them because they don't have what they need to win. How long do you think they would last at that rate? And then there's the debt collection companies, which are designed to obtain minimal information from the creditor banks and to pay very little for it, not to pay for witnesses, not to spend money on anything other than a small fraction of an hour of a lawyer's time per case. Plus the cost of an automated collection system, of course. Suddenly they'd need witnesses from the banks, documents, backup staff, and all the rest of the things ordinary lawyers need and use and spend money on for ordinary lawsuits. Their costs would absolutely skyrocket. I'm not talking twice as much or 5 times as much. I'm talking maybe 100 times, maybe 1,000 times as much. The whole debt collection system as it exists would come crashing to an end. And the credit system that feeds the collection industry, that would have to change too. But you don't have to care about all that. I'm not saying you should try to end the debt collection industry that plagues the country and harasses innumerable people. I'm not suggesting anybody should march in the streets. I'm just explaining why you should join with us as a way to solve your problems with the debt collectors. Because if you're being sued or harassed, you have a problem with them and they want your money. Our system will help you slip through the cracks of their factory, and if we get enough people fighting, you won't have to slip through the cracks of their factory because it won't be there anymore. The more people we get, the better off all of them will be. And that is my mission. You've got plenty to do for yourself, and doing that instead of giving up will help you and everybody. But I care about the bigger picture, and I want more people to join with us. That's why I'm going to make the offer I'm preparing to make, and why I'm creating a special new kind of membership for the ones I'm going to call Fast Trackers. Helping people protect their rights is what we do. Protect what's yours and don't let the debt collectors rip you off. Take action to protect yourself from the debt collectors and help others do the same. Please like this video, share it with anybody you think could use it, subscribe, and comment, as all these things help other people find our materials. YourLegalAgApp.com